Dear all, for the last several months, the world has been suffering from unprecedented challenges caused by the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Still, we are struggling to find ways to overcome these challenges, but we all agree that sustainable production and consumption are the need of the hour, as it can revive the global economy and make it more sustainable. We need more innovative products, and at the same time we need strong participation from consumers to adopt sustainable consumption behavior. I believe this is where my research will be able to throw some light on consumer innovativeness and its impacts on adopting ecologically innovative products or eco-innovations. The context is India, but it has a wider relevance for many other Asian countries and beyond. I am Pradipta Haldar, and this is a joint work with Professor Tommi Laukkanen. This is the outline of my presentation, and now I move to the background of my research in the next slide. Asia is the global engine of growth. It provides about 60% of the world's GDP, but this rapid economic growth has created significant sustainability-related challenges. Now, in this study, we focus on two industries. One is the automobile industry and the other is the textile industry. Now, why automobile industry? Because emission from the automobile industry is a major challenge for sustainable development, as it has a direct link with the climate change. Therefore, it is urgent to reduce the emission from the automobile sector, especially from the private transportation. And in this context, use of electric vehicles can reduce transport emissions significantly. Apart from the automobile industry, textile industry is also a major polluter, and some studies they estimate that textile industry is the second largest polluter after the oil industry, and Asia is the home to many large global textile industries. Therefore, in the textile industry, we can develop environmentally friendly textile materials that can contribute to the sustainable textile industry. Now, electric vehicles and sustainable textile fibers made from wood-based raw materials can be termed as eco-innovations because they can provide environmental benefit as well as they can create significant business opportunities. Coming to the Indian scenario, India is the fifth largest economy, and like many other major developing economies, the country has been experiencing significant sustainability related challenges. India has large automobile and textile industries. The Indian government has also started electric vehicle policy a few years ago, but electric vehicle sales is still under 1% of the total vehicle sales in India, and of that 95% are electric two-wheelers. Therefore, we can say that electric cars are yet to gain momentum in India. Like the electric vehicles, Indian textile industry is mostly based on cotton and synthetic polyester, and sustainable fashion is only a fraction of the total apparel market in the country. Although these innovative products are yet to gain momentum in India, some studies they found that Indian consumers have positive attitude towards buying electric cars and apparel made from eco-friendly textile fabrics. So therefore, we have some information about Indian consumers' positive attitude towards buying these eco-innovations, but we do not know the role of consumer innovativeness in influencing consumers' purchase decision of these eco-innovations in the Indian context, and that is the focus of this research. Now coming to the concepts and objective of this study. First, about the concepts of this study, now we talk about consumer innovativeness. This consumer innovativeness has two dimensions. One is consumer independent judgment making and the other is consumer novelty seeking. So what is consumer independent judgment making? So independent judgment making is the degree of consumer reliance on others for information and assistance when making new product purchase decisions. And consumer novelty seeking is consumer motivation to obtain information regarding new products from commonly available sources. So therefore we can say that consumers with high independent judgment making ability and high novelty seeking attitude will be the early adopters of innovations. Based on these concepts, the main objective of this research is to examine how consumer independent judgment making and consumer novelty seeking predict Indian consumers' purchase intention of electric car and t-shirt made from sustainable wood-based textile fabric. Now, based on the concepts of consumer independent judgment making and consumer novelty seeking, we have developed a number of hypotheses for our study. Related to consumer independent judgment making, we hypothesize that it has positive impacts on consumer intention to purchase an electric car and a t-shirt made from wood-based textile fabric. And regarding consumer novelty seeking, we hypothesize that it has positive impacts on consumer intention to purchase an electric car and a t-shirt made from wood-based textile fabric. In addition, we hypothesize that the socio-demographic variables like age, gender, education, and income have moderating effects on the relations between the two predictors and the two dependent variables. Now coming to the research method and data analysis. For predictors, we used two constructs on 5-point Likert scale. One is a 6-item consumer independent judgment making scale and the other is an 8-item consumer novelty seeking scale. Both were derived from the study by Manning et al., which was published in the Journal of Consumer Psychology. For the dependent variables, we created two single-item 5-point Likert scales for consumer intention to purchase a t-shirt from wood-based textile fabric and an electric car. Our sample size consists of 457 adults and of them 70% are male, average age is 34 years, 80% have university level education and their mean annual income is between 9,500 to 12,700 euros. We conducted field interviews in 10 large cities in India with the help of a market research company. And we applied structural equation modeling with AMO software for data analysis. About validity and reliability of our structural model. Our measurement model showed acceptable level of goodness of fit, and our data supported composite reliability, convergent validity, and also discriminant validity. We achieved full metric invariance with respect to age, education, and income, and we achieved partial metric invariance across gender. And we also tested for common method bias, and we didn't detect any common method bias in our study following the method by Lindell and Whitney. So these are the main results of our study. What we found that consumer independent judgment making has a significant negative effect on consumer intention to purchase an electric car, while a non-significant effect on intention to purchase a t-shirt made from wood-based fabric. Therefore, we rejected hypothesis 1A and hypothesis 1B. But for consumer novelty seeking, we found it has significant positive effects on consumer purchase intention of both the eco-innovations. Therefore, we accepted hypothesis 2A and hypothesis 2B. Here we talk about the results of the multigroup moderation test. We found that age does not have any moderation effect. Therefore, we rejected hypothesis H3B, but other moderators have significant moderation effects on some specific paths between the predictors and the dependent variables. Therefore, we partially accepted hypothesis 3A, hypothesis 3C, and hypothesis 3D. Coming to the conclusions and implications of our research, we found that consumer novelty seeking appears to be a strong predictor of Indian consumers' purchase intention of the two eco-innovations. and consumer independent judgment making does not seem to have a role to play. Therefore, we can say that consumers with high novelty seeking attitude could be the early adopters of electric cars and apparels made from sustainable textile fabric, at least in the Indian context. And what are the managerial implications of these findings? Marketers can position electric cars and apparels made from eco-friendly fabrics by highlighting their novel attributes and superiority to their alternatives. We also found that appeals of eco-innovations vary across different socio-economic groups, and that was clear from the moderation effects. Therefore, identifying the most favorable groups could expand the consumer base of eco-innovations that can address the sustainability challenges in India and other Asian countries. These are the key references that I used in this presentation, and I also acknowledge the financial support from the Academy of Finland. And finally, I thank you for your attention.